Morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. We continue the Marvel Crisis Protocol journey today. It's very exciting. For me. Not sure how exciting it is for everyone else, but that's okay. Because this show is all about and Hugo. Most importantly, Hugo. Alright. Cable. So, got my artwork there. I think we will just do a smidge of airbrushing to kick us off. We are up to episode 6 in the House of the Dragon. Yeah, enjoying it so far. It's pretty good. G'day, Relax. G'day, Paul. I started a little bit later than I normally do today because we were up last night watching the World Cup. Late night. Feel tired. Alright, that's where I need my camera to be, so just flip this up a bit, Deno. There we go. Yeah, rugby league is actually slightly different to Australian football, believe it or not, but yeah. It's not our national game, but I grew up watching it, so. There is actually a sport called Australian rules football, which is probably considered more of our national game than rugby league, but so I played another tournament yesterday in Marvel Crisis Protocol. It was very good. A small turnout, but I did make it through to the final table. I was unfortunately defeated this time. Is that a bicep? Yeah, that's a bicep. Let me check. Check the artwork. Yeah, that's his bicep. Yeah, no, it was unfortunately defeated in the final round, mate. But that's okay. Good to lose one every now and then. Yeah, it's a pretty strong scene here in Brisbane. It's yeah, good little game. I was chatting to the boys the other day and just saying, I'm not really interested in playing in fucking overseas tournaments or competing in the World Marvel Crisis Protocol Championships or anything like that. It's just really cool to paint the models, play the game with some cool dudes at the shop on a Wednesday night and have a bit of fun. So Cable. I'm gonna run my Tuesday night friends through a demo game soon. One of them really likes Cable, one of them really likes Doctor Strange, so those will be the next two guys I paint. Well, I've actually got a collection of 4 models that I would like to paint before I paint Doctor Strange, because they are models that probably won't see an awful lot of play, unfortunately. And those models are Jean Grey, Honey Badger, Wong, and Cassandra Nova. And if you don't know anything about who Cassandra Nova is, don't worry. I also had no idea who Cassandra Nova was. I had to read up about her. You never heard of Cable? Oh, okay. Well, Cable was in the X-Men TV show. So I knew him from then. But he's actually a time traveller. He's from the future. He's actually Cyclops and Jean Grey's son. I think Cyclops and Jean Grey. I can't remember someone. His name is Nathan Summers. Yeah, and he was in Deadpool, the second one. He's a cool character, actually. yeah, so I'm going to give you a rundown of my games that I played yesterday. So I decided that I wanted to play a new faction this weekend and challenge myself to paint a list in a week. So I played X-Men last weekend. So I decided to play a Hydra list this weekend. And the Hydra list didn't have an awful lot of crossover. So I had to basically paint. I ended up painting 8 models for it. Probably would have liked to have painted 10, but did not get time. And so there's lots of different play styles obviously in the game. The Hydra list that I played was a pretty straightforward game plan, whereby you walk forward, punch guys, and that's it. Pretty much, it feels like. There's a little bit more to it than that, but X-Men felt very, very, very adaptable, whereas Hydra felt all about how well you played that attrition game. And it was a fun challenge. I don't think there'll be the faction that I settle on in the long run, Game Mancer. But they were fun to play, so that was a good thing. So in the first, just going to quickly hair dry this. So the game works slightly differently to a normal competitive game. You don't play one list. You play 10 models, and then you design your list based on the mission that the game ends up having. And so the first game that I played was a mission where you could pick up cool little hammers. It's called Fear Grips the City as Worthy Terrorize the Streets, or something like that. It's basically you get 4 Mjolnirs on the ground, on the board, and you get to pick up the Mjolnirs and fight. And when you have a hammer in your hand, you're better at attacking. So it's a really fun scenario. You end up picking 2 scenarios every game, right? One's called a secure, one's called an extract. So that one with the hammers is the secure, extract. And the secure was one called Demons Downtown has our comeuppance come due. Something like that. I can never remember the names of them. G'day Match Fixer. And in that one, there's 3 flaming portals in the middle of the board, and those flaming portals are worth points if you secure them, but they also do damage and reduce your defense. So you've basically got a combination of defense reducing portals that you need to secure and hammers that increase your offensive output. So this first game was obviously going to be a smashing attack fest, which suits Hydra a fair bit. And my opponent was playing a very interesting list that had Magneto, Mystique, Sabretooth. So it was a Brotherhood of Mutants list because he had those 3 models. And then he also had Ghost Rider. So one of the cool things about the way the game works is you can play any characters you want. There's no restrictions around which characters you can play. There's no nothing preventing you playing Spider-Man and Doc Ock in the same list. I'm sure that's something that might happen in the future. Might come up with some special Fluff Bunny rules for people like me who love the Fluff Bunnies. But yeah, you can play anything, and so it's really cool because you get to see, Ghost Rider working with Magneto. And the in-game premise is that, villains and heroes are so often find themselves working on the same side. Which is cool. So Ghost Rider is a really good model for that scenario because he's immune to the flaming portals. He can't be burnt. And Magneto is really strong. He picks up pieces of terrain and throws them at people and just floats around the board being a fucking dickhead. So the list that I played was Strucker, Zola, Baron Zemo, Hood, Luke Cage, and the Winter Soldier, James Buchanan Barnes, Bucky Barnes. And in this game, it quickly cemented Bucky and Hood as two of my favourite characters in the game so far. And Luke Cage, for that matter. They just have really awesome, fun toolkits to use with lots of options, lots of flexibility. Flexibility is really important to me in a game. I like to have lots of options. Sometimes I play things that are just very good at one specific thing, but options and speed is usually what I prefer. Cobra Kai mentality. Strike hard, strike fast, no mercy. Spit on the ground. So I learned, and one of the things that's fun about playing in tournaments is you learn lots of new rules. Now, I knew all of the rules for Sabretooth, for Magneto and for Mystique, because I'd actually played them in a couple of games with X-Men, with Brotherhood. I'd never played Ghost Rider, and so I got to learn the rules of Ghost Rider. And he's unreal. He can... he's got a rule which I didn't trigger, but I almost did, and my opponent was like really, really disappointed. And it was fascinating because I was trying really, really hard to daze and then knock out Ghost Rider. I was like, push, push. I was so close. I left him on 2 health, and I probably should have killed him with the rolls that I was making, but I just rolled a bit shit on the last attack. And my opponent showed me this card, which is basically Ghost Rider can actually replace a model on the table. And he comes back fully healthy. So I potentially could have absolutely fucked myself had I been successful in killing him. And then obviously I didn't kill him until I smashed everyone else, but yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I was able to eke out a scenario lead, and then survive Magneto's inevitable counterattacks, and able to secure a win. I think it was 18-11 was the final score. So it's a game of victory points, so whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game, or first to 16. And I was able to get to 18, so it was good. I was happy with that. So the second round, we played another Hammers. Hammers is a very popular scenario. It's very fun to make your stuff better. It is randomly drawn. Like you have 3 of those types of secures and extracts each, and you get one randomly drawn. So I got Hammers a second time, and I actually just played exactly the same list because I was like, well, this worked well. My opponent played a criminal syndicate list, and in his criminal syndicate he had Hood, he had Kingpin, he had Lizard, and he also had the Incredible Hulk, Hulk Smash. And apparently Hulk's a pretty popular pick at the moment. He is an awesome model and an awesome piece in the game. But I've played against him a couple of times now, so the thing is he's just one model. He's got a lot of options. He actually is probably a model that I'd like to play at some point. He's got lots of options, but he doesn't generate a huge amount of power for himself because he's not that quick. He's got a leap. It's called Gamma Leap, which costs him power, and then he's a slow mover, and then he's got an attack that will do a fair amount of damage, and it's dependent on how much damage he's taken. He gets more powerful the more damage he takes, which is really, really cool, fun and thematic, cool to watch. So my approach to Hulk is chip a few little points off him here or there, but don't give him a lot of power, and then just go hard to try and take him out in one turn. And playing lots of models that aren't necessarily high value is a really good approach to combating Hulk and other big pieces, because their attacks are less value because they're punching into a little idiot. Which is a really cool mission, that one, a really cool game. I basically was able to get some really effective attacks off in the first couple of turns. So my Hood was able to do a really effective lightning bolt strike. And then Bucky was able to just keep shooting like crazy, pew 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 pew, with his gun. It was a table where this terrain favoured me quite heavily because he had quite a lot of medium bases and I had mostly small bases, and I was able to clog up the board in key positions with, again, just those little guys like Hood. Because he wasn't able to place his dudes in really effective positions because they couldn't land because of terrain in my models. So it was really cool. It was an awesome game. It was actually probably my favourite one of the weekend because it was toing and froing. We were both scoring points pretty neck and neck. And then it came down to one turn where Luke Cage defended an attack from Hood or Bullseye. I had Bullseye as well, yeah. Defended an attack at a critical moment using a card called Heroes for Hire. And Heroes for Hire is a really good card. And basically, Luke Cage gets to block the attack and then jump over and throw the person who just made the attack away. Really game-changing card, which is cool. And it ended up being a game-changing moment because he blocked an attack from Hood, picked him up, threw him into Bullseye, and then took the second attack. And yeah, it was a real swing because I was able to kill my next activation, Bullseye and Hood, daze them both. And gave me an activation advantage. So I had multiple models left and he didn't. So he just had Kingpin, Lizard and Hulk, whereas I basically had 5 other models to go. So in that instance, you have the option to pass, but if you pass, you're giving your opponent another chance to beat up on you. So he just couldn't react. He just had to take a few opportunities to try and fight me, and yeah, just didn't end well for our unfortunate brave criminal syndicate. And in that self-same turn, I did 13 damage to Hulk and took him out. And because of that, I was able to steal his 2 hammers. The Hulk had 2 hammers that he'd picked up. So I was able to take the 2 hammers from Hulk. Which left me with 4 hammers in my possession. And the hammers score you a victory point each turn. So I was able to ride that out to a victory, which felt pretty cool. I was pretty happy with that. But it was a fun game, really fun game. Which brought us to the final table, where I played against a dude named Corey who lives just near me, and I play on a Wednesday night. And he's a very good player. And he also played Kingpin Criminal Syndicate. G'day, Al. He also had Kingpin and Hulk. And he played Voodoo and Hood and Black Cat. It was a very, very, very tuned list. Because of the points value, I had to play a slightly different list, and mine was not as effective at 20 points, unfortunately. It was okay, just wasn't as good as my other previous games where I'd played at 18 points. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. And so that game was good. The problem with that game was the two scenarios that we drew were very central, and Kingpin is very, very good at dominating a table with a few victory points triggers. His rule is just all about taking control of a couple of locations, basically. He's really good at it. And there was two locations on the board which were point scoring, and it was really, really, really bad times for me because two spots for Hulk and Kingpin to just absolutely pound on. It was pretty tough. In the end, it wasn't close. The score was 16-2. However, there was a few decisions that I made throughout the game that I was just filed away for next time. There was an opportunity that I had to run away with one of the points things. So I'd captured a thing called a Kree Power Core. Had the option to run away with it. Chose not to. But I think on reflection, I had to run away with it. Like I had to. There was no no way to not run away with it, basically. It would have been really effective in the game because I was losing the other side of the scenario. And if I had a chance to protect that and keep that in my hand, or at the very least force him to chase me, then it could have made a difference. Anyway. It ended up not being close. I was absolutely smashing the attrition side of the game. And had it gone on for another turn or two, I think I probably won just by virtue of him not having enough models on the board. But unfortunately, that's Kingpin's modus operandi, where he just controls the points and scores them quickly, and he's really durable and hard to kill. Which actually feels very Kingpin-esque as well, I might add. The game feels really, really clever in the way that you play the characters. They feel like the characters. And there you go. So that was my day yesterday. I'm really enjoying playing the game at the moment. I don't feel like I've found my faction, my home. Every game I've played, I've gravitated towards one faction, really. And I like to dabble around in everything, but I think you find one faction that resonates with the way that you play, and the best thing you can do is play that faction until until they're clockwork. That was always my approach in War Machine. Cable. Good model, this. Really good model. And if you're like, what is he doing? Why is he standing there with his arm up like that? He's actually got this shield which sits in front of him. It's like a futuristic shield thing. It's very cool. So we'll finish him, then we'll paint his shield. That cable will be done. Then we might assemble a Thor. Asgardians are a possibility for me around what home I might find myself. Thor's my favourite Marvel character. Well, I actually have a spreadsheet that I will show you right now. Here we go. Here is my list of models that I own. So I find it helpful so that I don't buy too many things. Unfortunately, that's not worked well. So I own 79 of the Marvel Crisis Protocol models. I've assembled 74 of them, and I've painted 25 of them. So all the ones that are painted are here. I've marked the ones with a 0 that I'm painting next. Here is an overall status. Yeah, so there you go. I'm looking forward to painting quite a few of them. I've got the Hulkbuster is fucking awesome, right? And I just want to paint it and include it in some lists because it just looks like a fucking epic model to play with. What's the list below? Oh, that's the remaining models. All the models that I don't own. There's a chance I may own them at some point, so I just put them there. I did, yeah, look, I don't fucking half-ass things, right? As I'm sure most of you know by now. But my main consideration in this game was like, I really want to experience the full game to decide if I like it or not. And it's hard to experience it when you don't have all the options. So I wanted to have all the options. And then, as always, my decision making around miniature collection is always, unfortunately, a little bit jaded around the fact that I can buy whatever I want paint it, and I can usually sell it for more than I bought it for. So I'm sure they'll reach a point in the future when that's not the case, and I'll spend a lot of money and then I'll be fucking fucked. But that's my mindset at the moment. Yeah. But I will say this: the game is a lot of fun. I walked away yesterday and just got home. I was like, "Fuck! I want to play another game. Just want to have another crack." Which is nice. Nice to feel excited about something like that. It's been a while. I was excited about painting this model. So he's the leader of an affiliation called X-Force in the game. And I actually have most of the X-Force models painted as well, which is cool. So potentially could whip them out for a game at some point. Haven't really looked at his card actually, Cables. All that much. I think he's got some reasonable options, but I actually played a game against him and he had some cool shit. But in the game you get to choose both your 10 models that you bring in your roster, and then you also get to choose a thing called tactics cards, and the tactics cards are often more influential than the heroes themselves, because, well, they're not more influential, but they you only get 10 of them, and they are usually really powerful effects, like Luke Cage's card, which is called Heroes for Hire, is a hugely influential effect on the game. So choosing the ones of those that you take feels really important, and I haven't looked at Cable, so he might have a really cool one. He might not, but okay, let's go. Colour is Cable's cloak. I feel like it's black. Yeah, I think we'll just do a black. Is it black? It's brown in that picture. Suppose we can do it brown. Into an ochre. Cool. Alright, this might be fun. Yeah, the addictive thing about collecting these models is the way they package them is very, very clever. So in most cases you'll buy a character pack that has 2 models, and you know, makes sense for those 2 models to be characters that are aligned in the story, you know, so Wolverine and Sabretooth is a pack, you know, makes sense to go hand in hand. The problem with that is that Wolverine works for a couple of affiliations and Sabretooth works for a couple of affiliations. You can play them both in the same affiliation, that's fine, but you do get bonuses for playing specific affiliated characters, a certain number of them. And so the Brotherhood of Mutants is Sabretooth's main affiliation, and X-Men or X-Force is Wolverine's. So here you are with 2 models, however they work for 2 different affiliations, and usually you buy a few lists for, or you buy a few boxes for your X-Men roster. You're like, yeah, cool, so I'll buy Colossus and Magic, and I'll buy Wolverine and Sabretooth. So you go through and buy all those, and then you look at your collection and you're like, oh, I'm actually only like 1 or 2 models away from a Brotherhood list. So I'll buy Magneto and Toad. That's cool. I just need 1 more box for my Brotherhood list. Yeah, I'll buy Beast and Mystique. Oh yeah, that's got X-Men model in there as well, so that's good. Beast and Mystique. And then you look at it and you go, oh, Magic, yeah, she works for fucking Convocation. She could be like a spellcasting faction. Oh yeah, I need a couple more models for that. And that's how they get you. So all of a sudden you're like, I can play all of these super sweet affiliations because I have all these models. I'm in the same boat with like another couple like Sentinels. I bought a Sentinel. Bought Sentinel Prime. Because I can now play Sentinel's affiliation. I bought... Yeah. Anyway, it's a very clever business model. Very impressed with it. But they don't do it like overtly and obviously, right? They're not like, oh, you have to buy this and then you get that one. Suck shit. There is a Deadpool model, yeah. Deadpool's also in X-Force. It's pretty cool actually. Here, I'll show you. Because it's pretty cool. This is the box they come in. Deadpool and Bob, Agent of Hydra. There's Deadpool. He's got a swoosh. Nimrod is not in the game yet. Yeah, that's it, mate. Cable and Deadpool, X-Force. Can also have Domino. Cable actually comes with Domino. Yeah, it's fun model. Yeah. Let's grab a little bit more of this. Deadpool's considered okay in the game. Cable, I think, is considered... he's a good model for 5 points, right? Like he's a good, solid model, but anytime you have a leader, Cable being the leader of the X-Force affiliation, that's 5 points. They're a pretty hard ask, because the leaders tend to be pretty linchpin to your list. The more points you invest in them, they tend to get targeted. So, alright. Ochre? Yeah. But you got Domino, and she's an awesome piece in X-Force. X-23 and Honey Badger are awesome. So yeah, plenty of options in the X-Force affiliation to support Deadpool and Cable. I'm playing a game called War of the Ring this afternoon. Pretty excited about that fact. It's been quite a while since I've played War of the Ring. After I finish painting this guy, I'm going to go and read the rules and set up the board. Yep, it is indeed a legendary game. Played, this will be my 3rd game, I think, of it. It's a good game. Good game. Become quite a fan of this colour, Gwilliman Flesh. Just sort of adds a little bit of life to some potentially desaturated skin tones. Smooths out some of your roughness. It's just a nice little colour. So yeah, I don't know when my next Marvel Crisis Protocol event will be, but I'm going to make a regular games night on a Tuesday night, which is good. Some really good players there. Allow me to continue learning the game and hopefully reach a point soon where I can make a decision if I want to play it. At this stage is a strong yes, but you know, you never know. In the long run. It's been several years since I played War of the Ring, so yeah, should be good. Anyone else been playing Marvel Snap? Yeah, it's pretty good fun. I'm up to rank like 35, I think. Silver or something. It's cool. It's a cool little game. Don't recommend it if you don't like losing though. It's when you are losing, someone will quite happily do a thing called snapping, and that's where they say, I'm going to beat you. It's basically them teabagging on your face. Sometimes it's a good feeling, because you're like, you've just teabagged the wrong motherfucker. And you pull out a combo that they weren't expecting. You fucking smash them. Feels good, man. Yeah, there's some strategy there and some deck building fun, but it's been hard for me to get too invested in it when I'm too busy thinking about this, thinking about how to put this together, how to play with these lists. There's so much depth in this game. It's very, very cool. Is it raining? Okay, let's go. So we're getting closer and closer to CanCon now. We're a few short months away, which is exciting. I'm looking forward to the event. Looking forward to seeing what everyone brings. This will be our first proper event as the Crimson Brush. Last year we had quite a few people pull out due to an Omicron virus situation and all sorts of other things. But yeah, this year it's shaping up to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to heading down there. I've got some plans this year which we'll hopefully be able to put into place around the stream and stuff. Natalia's obviously going to be there, which is good. So yeah, pretty exciting time. Good. That looks good. Let's do a little bit of this gear. Cable. I think after I've painted a few more of these models, we may actually paint some scenery. I started painting a truck. It looks awesome. Need to finish it, but really important that the game looks good on the table. I just remembered Willow's coming soon. Cable! These are cool. very cool. Yeah, it's called Shutterpoint. It looks like it will sort of be similar, but I mean that's just speculation, right? It's just got the same sort of skirmish scale, but yeah, hopefully it's cool. I think I sort of said a couple of times in the stream, I'm not really a Star Wars boffin. You know, I like the movies, grew up watching the movies. Credit them with getting me into science fiction and fantasy a fair bit, but along with Willow being the two. I used to hire them out from the library. I used to ride my bike down to the local library. They had a video VHS area where you could hire, rent, borrow. So I borrowed Star Wars. I borrowed Willow from the library, I reckon, fucking 1,000 times. Who knows, but it was wonderful. Remember libraries? Fucking hell. Like, what an absolutely defunct fucking concept that is now. I know they still exist, but seriously, how much longer for? It's wild. It's wild. Yeah, that's clever. But fuck, I was at the library close every second or third day when I was growing up. Used to be a bike ride away. I used to jump on my bike. Used to go down to the library after school. Used to look at the fucking videos area, hire out some videos to watch. Used to stop at the lolly shop on the way home, grab myself a bag of those little fruit fucking lollies. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I know my sister was the same. She and I used to ride our bikes together down there. But she's got kids now, and I know they go to the library a lot, so... But geez, it's just a vastly different world now. Cable. Alright, that just needs a little bit more zing, a little bit more pep. A little bit more zing, a little bit more pep. So just grab your Spice Weasel, bam. Spice Weasel, good one, Deno. Yes, I know I am well behind the times on House of the Dragon and the Lord of the Rings will show Rings of Power, but they're both pretty good, aren't they? We're spoiled for choice at the moment around cool fantasy television shows. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. I think we're probably not far off here on the Cable Man. Let's just do the eyes. G'day, Build-A-Boar. Well, you've come to the right place, mate. I do all sorts of miniature painting that isn't Warhammer. I do display models, doing some Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's good, mate. Show you some of the stuff I've painted on stream. I don't have too many things here, but yeah, I'll show you this guy. So that's something I worked on stream. It's pretty cool. It's a vampire. Another vampire I painted on stream. Got a big vampire diorama happening, so it's all some work in progress on some vampires. And then yeah, I've got a whole pile of other models, mate. Go back and look through my stuff. Heaps of cool things I've painted that is not Warhammer. Which is nothing against Warhammer, it's obviously pretty great, but pretty great models. But yeah, there's a whole wonderful world of awesome figures out there. No, not at all, mate. These are purchased from a games company called Atomic Mass Games. The other ones are all purchased from other manufacturers. I don't have a 3D printer myself. I have access to one through a friend, but I don't print models on it generally. Just little bits of terrain and stuff for games. Alright, let's put cable down. That's a good question, St. Tubus. Have I ever done that? I don't believe so, no. But I think it's definitely doable, right? Yeah, resin printers are significantly better quality, unfortunately for durability, they're not that durable, so they shatter. Yeah, definitely, and I think in future, if I ever get a printer, I'd probably want one of each, because I think the FDM is better for the scenery. Being able to knock it around and not be concerned about it breaking feels pretty good. I'm not excited about painting the back of this. Not enthusiastic whatsoever. So we shall give it the old half-assing. There's definitely some considerations there around the amount of space you need. That was actually one of the reasons I didn't pursue a purchase of a resin printer at a time when I was considering it. Just didn't have the room. Yeah. No, that's just contrast paints, mate. It's pretty common approach from me is to use contrast paints over the top of stuff that I've already painted. Yeah, I don't imagine having a baby would create much extra time, really. There are certainly people who would call it slap chop. That is not what I would call it, no. But there are people who would call it slap chop. I tend to do it over fully painted areas as opposed to just the grisaille white, which is what traditional slap chop is. No, I don't take any offence to that. Again, there probably would be people that would, but I think anything that gets painters painting is a good thing, irrespective of whether it's a funny name for a technique that's been around for a long time or contrast paints, whatever it is. Don't really care, just do some painting. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Yeah, there's absolutely a purpose and a place for everything. There's been a big hubbub about the term slap chop, I've been told, on the internet. Let's just paint soldiers, friends. You know what I mean? Let's just paint some soldiers and have some fun. There's a really good Patreon by a dude called Sergio Calvo Rubio, who is the master of airbrushing, or one of the masters of airbrushing. There's many that I highly recommend if you want to see some stuff. I do a fair bit of airbrushing if you want to watch mine. Yeah. It's the thing I keep saying. Let's just not be dickheads to each other, right? Let's be friends. We're all having fun. We're all painting soldiers. How we get there doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we're airbrushing. Doesn't matter if we're Citadel contrast painting. Doesn't matter if we're doing anything. It's all painting. It's all good. Okay, let's go. Alright, that'll do, I reckon. Doesn't need to be too much more. It's fine. Just give him some teeth, I guess. Fine. And let's just do, where's that colour that I like? There it is. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Might just add a little bit of contrast over that. We'll go snakebite leather, I think. Just a touch. Just want to give it a little bit more pop, pizzazz, sprinkles. Good. Reckon we can put some cool base details on and call it a day. So what are we at? Oh, hour 30. I'm on a tear at the moment, friends. Painting that in an hour 30. Not bad. Not bad. Cool. Done. Let's add some cool shit with this bad boy. Cable. I'm sure everyone's seen this now, but we'll show you anyway. Printed out all these little newspapers. going to take just half of them because they're too big. I printed them out too big, but we'll fold it over a little bit. Like so. I'm dipping it in watered down PVA. So the watered down PVA will dry matte and will also help that to dry really rock hard, which is good. Might do another little one on the back. The watered down PVA helps to tie this in a little bit. Will actually soften the paper and make everything feel a little bit more aligned. And then we will do some leafy leaves. Don't spray leaves everywhere, Deno. Done. Cable. No, so Cable's got futuristic tech because he's from the future. So it's like a futuristic force field thing. From the future. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, I may actually just do something which I probably don't need to do, but will help me. It's going to annoy me seeing that big gap there. Wonderful, it's much better. Okay, top. He looks cool. He looks cool. Thanks, buddy. Awesome, friends. What a fucking cool model. Cable. Alright, well, we've still got a little bit of time, so I might just put together a model. I have this Asgardians box. So I might put together one of the Asgardians. Let's make it Thor. Heimdall! Open the Bifrost! Heimdall! He is on a small base. No, I'm actually going to do Convocation next, I think. I'm going to try Convocation. They look fun, but I wrote a list that has an Asgardian model in it. And again, this is how they get you, right? Fucking legends. An Asgardian model called Heimdall. Heimdall! Open the Bifrost. In a Convocation list, because I've also included a model called Dormammu. Dormammu being the villain in the first Doctor Strange movie. What's he in charge of, the Dark Dimension or something? Don't know if he's in charge of it or if he's just a god or whatever, but yeah. Anyway, you can play him on the table. It's awesome. So, my Convocation list includes him and Heimdall. So I had to buy Heimdall. And I was like, well, since I'm buying Heimdall, I might as well buy the whole Asgardian faction, so if I want to play Asgard, I can play Asgard. And it's also got Thor, my favourite character. It's just how they get you, mate. It's fucking bullshit. That? What's his headpiece, is it? Or is it his hips? I'm on tonight, you know my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel it, boy. Well, I have started doing that. Well, I haven't fully started doing that, but yeah. This Asgardian affiliation, it has 4 models instead of 2, so you get most of the way there. So at the moment they've got an X-Men one and a Brotherhood one, the Asgardians. I think that's all so far. I don't know if everyone knew that, but this is why these things are metal. So you can use a match to just clear the dried plastic glue out of there. Now it works. It's very good, very good. Fun little fact for everyone there. I know. That's if you use plastic glue, of course. Wouldn't recommend that for your super glue container. Not sure if super glue is flammable, but sure that would be a less than fun time. So I've done the same thing as I've done on most of my bases for gaming models over the last few years, which is fill them in with my putty, sand them down so they're nice and smooth, and then magnetise them. It's a wonderful experience. A little bit of extra weight just feels so nice. So nice when you're playing a game. So nice. I know. See you, St. Tubus. Thanks for joining us today, mate. Quick, get help. I need a horse. Dun, dun, dun. Bicep. They've made this one overly complicated assembly. Some of the earlier models they really fucking did excessive amounts of shit on them. Here's another great little tip from Deno. Little things like this wing on his helmet. Don't do that one, Deno. Do the other one. You can just leave him in, leave the head attached. Just makes it much easier to attach the little jobbos to. Like so. Yes, thanks, buddy. Got many tips and tricks like that. That's what you get being a modeler of 25 plus years experience. Great little tips like that one. Good on you, Deno. What a fucking champion. I know. That's one of the funnest things about this game. Is when you do stuff with your characters, you get to fucking say quotes in the movies. It's great. It's so much fun. By the power of Grayskull. No. This bit, don't I? This bit like this. There it is. Right. Surely that's right. Surely. Don't call me Shirley. Good. Let's put this fucker in here. I like to use both plastic glue and super glue with assemblies, because the super glue will give you a much more secure bond quickly. So I feel like if you use super glue for a couple of areas, it will allow the make a gun quote. Well done. It gives the plastic glue more time to dry, or means the plastic glue works more effectively. Plastic glue is better in general because it's more forgiving, right? So you can pull things around, and if you get it wrong, I think in the end it does provide a more secure bond, but super glue will just bond something instantaneously, which can sometimes be what you need. By the power of Grayskull. Oh, Dano. I've done myself a mischief. By somehow not doing a good job gluing that fucking wing piece on his hat. And now I've got to hope I can find the fucker. Or I'm going to be fucking pissed. I've dropped that fucker on the ground. My god. That's a black fucking hole. I've dropped it on the ground, friends. It's just like the hand all over again. It's just like the fucking hand all over again. Dear oh dear. Well, I don't know that I'll be sculpting that one. That's a fucking tiny little fucking Bobby Dazzler. I know. Imagine if I fucking found that hand. Alright. Could not have gone far. It's only small, so it's not going to fucking fall very far. If it has in fact fallen. I'm getting old, friends. I keep fucking dropping things. It's killing me. Definitely haven't left it up here, have I? Definitely hasn't. Oh, this is a good view from you, for you guys. I hope you're enjoying that. Alright. I am going to depart, turn off the camera and see if I can find this fucking thing. Yeah, I got some cool stickers on there. I got 2 lights, both of them have got stickers everywhere. It's mad. Alright, friends. Been a good day. I'm happy with my cable paint job. Yeah, everything needs a clean, mate. Let's find someone to raid. Raid! Are you about to start, Top? You fucking streaming today or what? Who's on miniature figures? Tobias Fate Plus. Don't think I've rated him before.
3D printing is useful, very useful, but
yeah, let's raid that guy.
You know, if you can get value out of it repeatedly, that's great. I've played DRG. Deep Rock is good.
Boom. First on the list. Pleasure, friends. I'll see you all tomorrow or whenever. Whenever you join me, if you do. Have a good week.
Can always do better though.